Hello, my name is Miss Eggleton and I'm an assistant head teacher here at Stretford High School, responsible for literacy across the curriculum. Thank you so much for tuning in to this video today to find out more about how you can support your child's reading. Reading is an absolutely fundamental life skill. It impinges onto all aspects of our life, and if we want our children to participate fully in society and the workplace, that they become good readers is absolutely essential. Children with poor reading struggle to read independently, and then as a result, they read less. And what that means is that the gap between what they don't know grows and grows, and the struggle to read widens. So it's really important, as in secondary school, the amount of reading that we ask children to do increases, and the level of difficulty of the reading that we ask children to do increases, that we're encouraging and supporting our students to be the best readers that they can be. But it isn't just about academic access and excellence, it's about what reading can give your child in all aspects of their life and well-being. So as well as supporting understanding in all subjects, it helps mental health and well-being through escapism. It helps your child to develop empathy and communication skills. It allows their imagination and creativity to blossom, and it helps them to make connections to places and people and concepts and awakens them to the world around them. It is an absolute gift to be able to read, and studies show that those who read more are more likely to achieve their ambitions. So it all links in together. It's not just about doing well in the classroom, but about in life and supporting well-being overall. So, as you know, we wrote to you to let you know that we would be testing your child to assess their reading age score. And the test that they have done tests them in two different ways to identify what kind of reader they are. So we first of all test for sentence completion or decoding, and what that means is, can students recognise the words they see? So when they see a word written on the page, can they say the word correctly for how it is written? And then the second thing that we test is passage comprehension. So that's not can they just say the word, but can they actually understand the word and in sentences and paragraphs find meaning in what they have read. So it's about their ability to read accurately, to recognise words and sounds, but then it's also about their ability to understand what they have read. On your child's report, you'll see that next to their reading age score, you will have a word, and you will either have the word emerging, developing, or mastery. If your child has the word mastery, that means that your child is reading at or above the expected level for their age. So that's great news. If they are developing, then your child is still working on developing their reading skills. They're not quite at the expected level for their age. They can read well, they can understand with support, but if we ask them to read completely independently, there'd be pockets of the text that they don't quite understand or that they're not able to accurately read, and that could be holding them back. And lastly, if your child is emerging, then they are still learning how to read effectively. Their reading currently is below the expected level for their age, and they need lots of support to understand texts. There is so much that we can do to help children become more effective readers and improve their reading scores. And you'll notice, regardless of whether your child is mastery, developing, or emerging, there are different ways that we in school and you at home can help them to keep reading and to read well. So if your child is currently in mastery, in order to keep reading at this level, they will need to continue to practice their reading skills. So much like fitness with exercise, if you stop doing something, then you're going to notice that it becomes a little bit more difficult. So if your child is mastering, we would really ask you to encourage or challenge your child to read outside of their comfort zone, to get books out of the library, and to share their thoughts on what they've read. If they're developing, we'd really encourage you to try to create a reading routine for your child to help them reach age-related expectations. So for example, reading at home 3 times a week and talking about what they've read with you. Reading together would be a really lovely way to do this. And lastly, if your child is emerging, then we would really try and encourage you to read every day with your child, as regularly as it is possible for you to do within, I know, what is a very hectic lifestyle. We would ask you to ask them to read aloud to you, so that you're able to pick up on that accuracy and to recognise that the words they're not sure of. But in and amongst what you can do at home, we're also doing an awful lot in school to help your child be the best reader they can be. We have 2 approaches to supporting our students be the best readers they can be. The first is by supporting all of our students, and we do that through, first of all, our form time curriculum, which gives our students 1 morning a week to read a text with their learning tutor and practice comprehension skills by talking about what they've read in small groups. We also have a reading lesson in English once a week, during which students are either given the opportunity to go down to the library once a term with their teacher, or they read a book as a class together with their teacher and complete activities and discussions about what they've read. We really carefully pick the books to try and encourage students to engage with texts that we think are really going to appeal to their interests, and that reflect our diverse community. And often we pick books that have come from a series, so that hopefully children will want to go and take the next one out of the library. All of our teachers are trained in supporting reading in their lessons. This is not just about achievement in English, this is about achievement in every single subject. And in lessons across the curriculum, students are exposed to reading and supported by teachers to access text and to work on their reading skills. And that's the reading skills that are specific to the needs of that subject. So what does it take? What do students need to be able to do with a text to read like a scientist, or to read like a musician or a geographer? Teachers know how students need to be able to access text to best succeed in their subject and outside of the classroom, and the activities that they experience with reading across the curriculum will address those needs. And lastly, we have an amazing librarian and a fully stocked and engaging school library. It is free for any student to use, and our librarian knows every book inside out that's on those shelves and is always available to help students pick something that will appeal to them. Libraries open before and after school and during breaks and lunch, so we'd really encourage all students to go down there and take a book out which they can read at home with you or with a younger sibling, and really to help integrate reading outside of the classroom. We also have plans to support our students to be better readers based on their individual needs. So all our teachers know the reading scores of students and put individual support in place in the classroom as it is needed according to the score. For any students who have developing or emerging reading skills, there is an offer of reading intervention. So we look at that accuracy or that comprehension, we look at the scores, and we look at what the best intervention is, and those children are selected to work with a teacher in small groups to really hone and work on those reading skills during the school day. For some students who are emerging or developing, we offer an at-home online reading intervention programme called Lexia. So we've already invited individual students that we believe will benefit. Check your emails to see if your child has been selected for that intervention, or if your child's reading is emerging or developing and you would like your child to participate, then please email me. You can see my email on the screen now. So what can you do at home? Well, we would really encourage you to encourage your child to read. And that reading material can be anything that interests your child. It could be an ebook, a magazine, even articles on their phone or tablet. Any reading is great. Ideally, a minimum of 3 times a week for around 20 minutes, just so that they're having time to engage with the ideas and think deeply and check their own understanding. And asking them questions about what they've read will encourage a child to think and get really into what they have read, to test that comprehension that we've talked about. Read at home yourself. It is a very mindful and enjoyable activity that will support your well-being, and your child seeing you read is you role modelling what you would like them to do, and that's a really powerful tool. So anytime you feel like grabbing a book, make that really clear, or even if you're reading an article on your phone, talk about what you've read and tell them about it and ask them questions about the topic. Don't forget our amazing local libraries here in Old Trafford and Stretford. They are open, they are free. You can register and you could pick a book that you could both read. You could, lots of our libraries have multiple copies, or if your child gets a book out in school, then you could get the same book from the local library. You could share the reading, either reading out loud or taking turns and discussing what is being read. And if your child at Stretford High has a younger sibling still in primary school, then encourage them to read to the younger sibling, or to listen to the younger sibling read and to help them. Anytime they're looking at words in a text and thinking about the meaning of them is supporting them to improve their reading. And if you did want to ask your child some questions about the reading but you were unsure where to start with that, then this helpful slide is available on our school website, which I'm going to show you how to access in a second. So there's a few questions here that you might want to refer to that will just help to open up that discussion around reading. So there's a couple of useful links here. So if it's picking what to read that's particularly tricky, then there's a couple of reading lists based on age there, and a really helpful website called Words for Life that has loads of resources. So you could have a little explore on there. On our school website, you will see here, if you click on the curriculum link and then language for learning or literacy tabs, then that will bring up this PowerPoint and our questions and slides and some more helpful information about how you can support your child and encourage them to read. In the meantime, if there's anything else we can do to help, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Otherwise, get reading.